advise you that the transfers were legal?
The overdrafts that I addressed on Fridays, as I put in my oral statement, directed my inquiry to whether they were proper to senior people in our Chicago back office.
Would that be Lori Ferber?
Ultimately, Lori Ferber was aware that we had questions about this, and I referred that also to her. She's our general counsel. But the assurance that I received was from our back office people in Chicago.
Can you give me a couple names?
The woman that I spoke to was a Miss Edith O'Brien.
But Lori Ferber agreed it was legal too.
Miss Ferber was looking at the letter that was requested by J.P. Morgan to assure that we were CFTC compliant.
And she said you were?
Once I submitted the letter that I was supposed to sign, I did not hear back from Miss Ferber. As I suggested in my opening remarks, I had explicit statements that we were using proper funds, both orally and in writing, to the best of my knowledge. And since I don't have all my records, I don't have that, but I think that I believe I have it in writing, and I conveyed that to J.P. Morgan, and J.P. Morgan asked at a later period of time, for confirmation that we were using CFTC compliant funds, and that's when I spoke with Ms. Ferber.
And what was her response?
She took the issue and was reviewing the letter, and I never heard anything back about it.
So you asked if it was legal to do this, and she never answered you, so...
I had confirmation from the people that we relied
upon. Back office people?
People in the Treasury function that we relied upon.
Have any of your assets or your passport been frozen?
No, sir.
Do you agree with the assertion of the Wall Street Journal that J.P. Morgan Chase and Soros benefited from the fall of MF Global?
I've only read the article, and I have no idea.
You have no idea? Did you sell them stuff? Do they generally make money when you sell them stuff, or they broker stuff for you?
I was not involved in those sales.
Okay. Do you think there's anything in Dodd-Frank that would have prevented this?
I'm really not in a position to speculate about that.
Do you have an opinion, just personal opinion? I'm just curious. We've heard a lot of talk here. If we'd had Dodd-Frank, this would have never happened, and I don't see it. I just wonder if you saw anything in Dodd-Frank that would have stopped this from happening. I mean, this is bad behavior. You know, somebody basically stole essentially out of an escrow account. You can have all the regulation in the world, and somebody's going to steal somebody else's money, unless the regulators catch you. If they get off their butts and do their job and catch you, it's not going to make any difference. You know, the only way this bad behavior, I'm getting on another subject, but is going to be changed by putting some people in prison eventually. Mr. Ablow, are you still employed by MF Global?
I am employed by MF Global Holdings, the holding company, not MF Global Inc., the entity in which, the regulated entity.
Were you ever employed by the regulated entity?
I was employed by Global Holdings, of which the regulated entity was a subsidiary.
So is that a yes?
I believe that I was employed by MF Global Holdings as a technical matter. That's who I got my paycheck from, sir.
What do you think should be done differently? If we could roll back the clock, what do you think would be done differently that would prohibit this from happening?
Congressman, I am waiting to see the results of the investigation, and I assume that when we do and when you do, that you, together with regulators, will be better informed and able to take a view as to what can be done. At the moment, absent the information as to what happened, I am not sure how to answer the question.
Mr. Corzine? Same question.
I think this will be fact-dependent, Congressman.
Thank you. My time has expired. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.